Coming to you live from Once Again Tech Studios in Bethesda, Maryland. I'm Tom Grooms, our guest, Mr. Adam Spector, Critic at Large, and Mr. Charles Kirkland, Publicity Committee from the Washington, D.C. Film Society. Our focus, the 97th Academy Awards, the 32nd Annual Oscars Party. And gentlemen, all I can say is a memoir of a snail, a complete unknown. I'm still here.
Glad to be here, Tom.
The Washington, D.C. Film Society.
Thank you. We're so happy that you're having us here again, Tom. It's been a while, but it's really good to be back with you.
All I can say is we've been through a lot in the past decade. How is Hollywood holding up?
Well, it's been a rough time for Hollywood, literally, over the past several weeks. We've all seen the fires and the devastation, and we're all rooting for them, pulling for them to come together. Hopefully the Oscars will be a good way for them to do that. But in general, my heart just goes out to them. People think it's just movie stars, no big deal. Well, most of them are middle-class people that are just trying to earn a living like we all are, and we hope that they can all recover.
The importance, though, the mission of the DC Film Society. You guys have been at it a long time. You have regular jobs, but you're professionals when it comes to Hollywood, no doubt. I know this. I've followed you for many decades. But let's repeat for those who are just joining us, and you've seen many generations join over these decades. What is the mission of the DC Film Society, going back to what, 1991?
Well, the mission of the Film Society is to support the DC Film Fest. We're a partner. Well, we're a child organization. They're our parent. And so
sister, maybe.
We've been doing this for quite a while, where we have different functions to raise funds for Film Fest. But we're also, just a bunch of people who love watching movies and going to movies and talking about movies and having fun. Yeah.
And some people have aspired to go right into Tinseltown and are on the big screen. You have been, well, we're going to talk about Captain America, but I remember many years ago, and do you remember this, Adam? Charles was an extra, wasn't he, in Captain America?
I was an extra in...
See, I remembered.
Which one was
Before they legalized everything.
Was that Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier, yes, it was. I had a small role as a person on the street in running from violence. So it was fun. It was fun.
Peter Fonda is rolling over right now. Right on.
It was a lot of fun. And so, I look forward to when things come to the city, we get opportunities like that. And I heard about it from a friend that was in the Film Society. So it was a great opportunity to be an extra.
Well, speaking of a complete unknown in Captain America, let's break it down.
Wow. Okay. You want to talk about Best Picture? Let's talk about Best Picture.
Yes, this is the most wide open Best Picture we've had in a while. Certainly a lot more than last year when Oppenheimer was the consensus pick. This year it could be a Nora, it could be a complete unknown, it could be the Brutalist, or maybe even Conclave. Conclave has been doing well of late.
Well, Adam hosts a Cinema Lounge, which is a group of film lovers who want to talk about the Oscars, and we just did that this week. And I believe the favorite from that was The Brutalist, wasn't it?
It was a Nora, but by literally one vote.
There
was one vote more than The Brutalist.
So what would you pick if you were going to pick the Best Picture? What would you say?
You mean what I think should or what I think will?
What do you think will win?
I think it will be a Nora, gun to my head, if I had to pick one of them. And actually, out of the 10 that are there, I would pick a Nora. Sing Sing was my favorite of the year, but
and it didn't even make
unfortunately,
the top 10.
That wasn't nominated.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think a Nora is going to win. Although Conclave has been having a nice little push because of the sickness of the Pope. And so that puts a lot of eyes on it. And this is a story about getting a new Pope. So, it kind of works. I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak in and get the win.
And, of course, in our prayers, all the firemen, all the people, all the public safety people in Hollywood and Los Angeles. And the event, which is happening March 2nd at the Arlington Cinema N Drafthouse, we're inviting everyone in the Washington area to come on out. You can also learn a lot while you're there. Membership for the DC Film Society is when? In May? Does it open up in May?
It opens up in May it does, and we'll be starting our membership drive for the new year. And if you want to get information, you can go to our website at dcfilmsociety.org. But come out to the party on Sunday night and join us. And you don't have to be a member, but membership does decrease the amount that you have to pay to attend. But it gives you an opportunity to see what the society is like and what we do, and have a ball.
You're in the Grooveyard, coming to you live from the Once Again Tech Studios in Bethesda. The Washington, D.C. Film Society, Mr. Adam Spector is here, critic at large, and Mr. Charles Kirkland. From the Publicity Committee, our focus, the 97th Annual Academy Awards and the 32nd Annual Oscars Party at the Arlington Cinema N Drafthouse. Now, I told you when I was a kid, I saw Lil Abner at the Arlington Theater, saw Let It Be there, and the Guns of Navarone. So I think I covered the 1950s and
that's
60s
quite a range.
And you'll be in my home, my hood, South Arlington, on Sunday night, March 2nd.
So we look for you to come out, Tom.
Wakefield Warriors, come on, let's go. Wakefield, go Wakefield. What races are still open, and what are the locks in this year's Academy Oscars?
I think the locks are the two supporting categories.
Yeah.
And supporting actress, Zoe Saldana seems to have it so down. She's won all of the precursor awards. And then same thing on the supporting actor side with Kieran Culkin. It would be a huge upset if anyone other than those two would win. I think by contrast, the best actor and best actress races are
again wide
a little
open.
more open.
Yeah.
I mean, best actress, I think Demi Moore still is considered the favorite. But if there's a Nora wave, then maybe Mickey Madison could pull off an upset. And then on the actor side, Adrian Brody has been winning most of the precursor awards, but Timothée Chalamet just won the SAG award for his role as Bob Dylan in The Complete Unknown. He's become very adept at building publicity for himself, and it wouldn't be a huge shock if he were to win Sunday night.
The SAG award is usually a very good predictor of who's going to win, because it's a lot of the same voters that vote at SAG and then they vote at the Oscars. So usually they're pretty good about being where the actor category is going to be.
What could be the night's biggest surprise, do you think?
I think the biggest surprise would be if Emilia Perez comes out with any Oscars. I think other than Zoe Saldana, there's been so much negative publicity that's circling the film that I'd be surprised to see them get anything else other than that.
I told Adam on the phone that it was a slap in the face because Will Smith is going to be doing a power adventure movie or something.
Will Smith is trying to get back into the world of acting, and he's an actor. So he'll be doing stuff, but he just won't be able to attend the award ceremony.
But this is just another reason to be in the house at the Arlington Cinema N Drafthouse, because you never know what's going on.
You never know.
Yeah, see, Will Smith could come to ours. He's still allowed.
I heard along with Bob Dylan.
Oh, well, if he wants to come too, I mean, I don't know if we would understand what he's saying.
Well, I got to say, Cheryl Dixon does know Jacob.
Well, okay. Well, we'll see. It'd be a nice surprise for everyone who's there.
Why should people come out with us when they can watch at home? Give me a reason why they should hang out with us.
Are you kidding me, Tom? Well, you're going to ask that. Well, the main reason is because it's better to have fun with a group of people than it is to sit at home on your couch. And sitting at home on your couch, you're more likely to go to sleep than to watch the show. If you're there with us, we can encourage each other. We can eat some good food and have fun with not just watching the Oscars, but we have lots of stuff that happens around it. We have the silent auction. We have trivia that's hosted by Travis Hobson and Tim Gordon, who will be our local movie critics who will be hosting the Oscars show. So it's lots of things, lots of reasons to be there that night.
In the Grooveyard, coming to us live from the Once Again Tech Studios in Bethesda, Mr. Adam Spector and Mr. Charles Kirkland from the Washington, D.C. Film Society. Our focus, March 2nd, the Arlington Cinema N Drafthouse in Arlington, the 32nd annual Oscars party. What else surprised you, Adam, about the awards this year?
Well, going back to what Charles was saying, the plummeting of Emilia Perez's chances was pretty stunning. I mean, it got the most awards out of all films. It got 13 the most nominations. It got 13 of them. Only a handful of films have ever gotten 13 nominations. You know, you're looking at Ben-Hur and Titanic and those type of films. Mm-hmm. And to go from that to now probably supporting actress and nothing else is a huge shock. But that's the power, the destructive power of Twitter or X
or whatever social media is. I mean, it can make or break people, and it's really sad for Netflix because Netflix has been trying for so many years to get a film as the best picture, and I guess they figured that this was going to be the year. Just like but something happens and torpedoes their chances.
How do you think the Oscars will address Gene Hackman's death?
It's with heavy hearts that we even talk about the Oscars so soon after hearing the news about Gene Hackman and his wife passing. I would think at a minimum they would include him and probably end the In Memoriam segment with him. If it were up to me, they would also have a short segment devoted entirely to him, and just a wide range of movie he's done. I mean, he won 2 Oscars himself, and I think he deserves kind of a standalone honor. But hopefully, at a minimum, they'll conclude the In Memoriam with him.
At least, yeah.
When I logged on to the DCFilmSocieties.org website, Adam's rib is still in circulation.
Yeah, it's still there. It's a column I've had for a while now, and I talk about the Oscars, talk about how films relate to current events, and various other topics.
Also, in the Washington, D.C. Film Society, I was saying to Charles, he was an extra in Captain America. I don't see you listed here on the nominations, Charles. Maybe I have the wrong piece of paper.
As soon as they get a category for extras, I'm going to be there.
However, this is the opportunity. Opportunity only knocks anytime you attend a Washington, D.C. Film Society event, because how many people have gone on to various films here? And what's the latest film that's been in Washington? Who's filmed here lately? Do we know? It's been so confusing in the last few years, and especially with the pandemic.
Especially with the pandemic and the strikes that have happened, it's hard. It's been harder to get things happening here, and I know we've had a couple local filmmakers who are making some great things here, but I haven't seen Hollywood. Hollywood's been staying away for a little while, so we'll see what happens.
I heard there was a Feast Your Ears documentary that took over a decade to produce somewhere along the line. It was released, I don't know how many times it's been released, but I want to thank all those guys for doing that. That was very nice. The insanity of 1972 to 1981 for me.
I was going to
say. But
I
think the star of the film was Sarah.
Yeah.
Really?
She really was. She was the one that took the heat, and she was really the pioneer.
But I heard you had a big role in it yourself, so...
16 seconds.
Yeah. The highly important seconds, though.
It was
It's quality, not
flashback.
quantity.
I mean, I feel you. I know how it is just to have that short span of time.
But what films have been done in Washington lately that we know of?
Well, I mean, if anyone has seen Captain America, the new one, the Brave New World, a lot of it was shot here in Washington, D.C. I remember a lot of the streets being shut down, and in the Haynes Point, they were there shooting as well. So, yes, a lot of that was done here.
Well, that's good. Yeah, too often they will make, Toronto or Vancouver or one other city double for DC. It's always it's not easy to shoot here. There's a lot of permits, a lot of legal entanglements, but it's always gratifying when you do see a film that's willing to make that effort.
It's probably going to be harder now that all the federal workers are back in town. So it was probably easier to get permits when there weren't going to be a lot of people around. So who knows?
How do you think the Oscars will address the Hollywood fires Sunday night?
I think that's one of the critical questions heading in. They need to acknowledge it in some way. Not doing it would be tone deaf. I hope that they'll acknowledge the people that lost their homes. I hope they'll acknowledge the people, the many first responders that risked their lives to help others in the area. At a minimum, I think that they would have shown phone numbers, websites where people could donate money, because the need is ongoing. The fires may have been contained, but the needs of the victims there will remain relevant for a long, long time.
I mean, there were a number of people who called for the Oscar ceremony to be suspended because of everything that was going on and the money that was raised to have the function be donated to charities. So I'm quite certain that they'll be doing something, if not having some firefighters there to recognize or doing a film package. I hear they're not doing songs this year, so they got to fill their time with something else. So that might be one of the things they'll do.
All the more reason to join us on Sunday night in Arlington, Virginia, on Columbia Pike at the Arlington Cinema N Drafthouse. Our guest, the Washington, D.C. Film Society, Mr. Charles Kirkland, Publicity Committee, and Mr. Adam Spector, Critic at Large. And our focus, Oscars evening, Sunday, March 2nd, and the 97th Annual Academy Awards Ceremony. Let's go through who you think will be walking away with an Oscar and see if you and Adam disagree. You go first, Charles. Who's going to walk away with it?
Adam and I disagree with that. Would never happen.
Not at all.
I mean, if we could talk about the Best Actor category, which is, I think is going to, I mean, it's a 3-person race, but who knows? Adrian Brody seems to be the front runner, but as Adam has said before, Timothée Chalamet has got a nice little campaign going for him, and he came away with the Screen Actors Guild Award. He had a kind of a weird acceptance speech. Some people really liked it, and some people were kind of put off by him, by what he was saying. But I think that it caused enough of a controversy to draw eyes toward him versus away from him. So I would like to see Chalamet come away with the award in that category.
Yeah, I actually appreciated his speech. I mean, it was different. He didn't thank a lot of people like we come to expect. But he said, I want to be one of the greats, and this is fuel towards that. He wasn't saying he was one of the greats. Right. It wasn't about his ego, but he was saying that that's his goal, that that's what he wants. And to me, that's a positive. The people in the entertainment world want greatness, not just a lot of money or a lot of fame.
Well, and at least you should. I mean, I don't know anybody who goes into acting saying I want to be a mediocre actor.
Right.
They should. And I thought it was refreshing for him to say, I want to be great. And he talked about some of the greats that he wanted to model himself after. So I thought it was a positive speech and I thought it was very smart. But there were some people said that he should have been more humble. To which I was like, come on, give him a break. He's still, well, he is only 29.
Bob Dylan was 21.
Yeah. The interesting thing about it, Chalamet is 29. That was the same age that Adrian Brody was when he won his first Oscar for The Pianist. And so he was an underdog in that race and came out and won. So it could happen again.
Yeah, it could. I mean, there were heavyweight. Jack Nicholson was nominated that year, and he really kind of came out of nowhere. So now he's the grizzled veteran. I think Best Actress is also kind of is art imitating life, because you have the veteran Demi Moore in a movie about how hard it is for women in Hollywood past a certain age to stay relevant, and her versus a much younger up-and-coming actress. I hope Demi Moore wins. I think she deserves it. not just as a lifetime achievement, but she was amazing in that film. You know, at the same time, the Academy, contrary to popular opinion, doesn't always go with a sentimental choice. It doesn't always go with a he's due or she's due. I mean, look at Glenn Close. It looked like she was going to win a couple of years ago, and she was, 0 for 7 or something like that. And instead, in a surprise, they went with Olivia Colman.
Diane Warren who's like the Susan Lucci of the Oscars. I mean, she's been nominated I forget how many times, and she's never won an Oscar. And so she's nominated again this year, and who knows? It doesn't actually have to be because you're due. And that's the good thing, is that they actually most of the times, recognize the best.
In the category of international films, anything grab you?
Well, that's an interesting category too, because if you'd asked me several weeks ago, I would have said, well, it's Emilia Perez and a cakewalk, But we've already talked about the problems that Emilia Perez has encountered. Meanwhile, the reputation of I'm Still Here, the Brazilian film, has been slowly but surely climbing, and deservedly so. It's a terrific film.
It is.
So I think that could really go either way now. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm Still Here wins.
Charles, who would you most like to see win?
We just mentioned it, but I would really like to see Demi Moore win, because she's had a fantastic career. She's done some really good things, and what she does in this movie is a really sharp criticism of Hollywood, and she holds herself well in this film. So I would like to see. I think it's a convergence of both lifetime achievement and the work that she's done in this film that I think she really deserves it.
So that's a lock for you.
I would say it's a lock for me.
Do you concur?
I concur that she should win. I think it's almost a lock. I wouldn't completely rule out Mickey Madison pulling the upset, but I think it's most likely going to be Moore.
And what about animation? Anything?
That's a great
exciting?
question, because the animation category is there's two entrants in the category that are contenders, and that's The Wild Robot and this little Latvian film called Flow. Now, I love Flo. I really want Flo to win, because
she was a supreme man.
Because it's also about the little guy taking on the David versus Goliath, and the Wild Robot is DreamWorks, and they do wonderful things. But this film is so special. It's got no dialogue. It's truly an animated story about animals surviving a flood, and I think it's wildly imaginative and creative, and I think it should be the winner.
Yeah, I do too. I think it was an amazing film. You talk about creative risks.
Yeah.
To have no dialogue, no human beings there, and it's relying on the visual aspect and that alone to wrap you in the story, and it succeeds. So I completely agree.
You're at the Grooveyard. We're live from Once Again Tech in Bethesda, Maryland. Our guests, the Washington, D.C. Film Society. Charles and Adam are here, and our event is March the 2nd at the Arlington Cinema N Drafthouse. How much are tickets, gentlemen?
Tickets are $20 general admission. However, DC Film Society members and members of one of our partners, Women in Film and Video, is $15.
And you can get tickets online, or you can get them at the door that night?
You can get them at the door. We don't do online tickets for it.
Okay, at the door?
At the door. And doors open at 5:30, so gives you plenty of time to get in, get a seat, and get yourself prepared for the show that starts at 8. And
recap some of the activities that will be going on. I get in there at 6 o'clock. Of course, you can get some great food, too, while you're there at the Arlington.
Absolutely. You get got some wonderful food that you can order. There's a silent auction as you come in the door. We also have I'm sorry. The program starts at 7. That's right, because they do the red carpet. But the Oscars start at 8. The red carpet starts at 7. But silent auction as you come in. There's lots of freebies and giveaways as you come in. We have trivia contests and food, and we also have a pick the winner contest where we have like 5 different categories of the Oscars, and you pick the winner, and whoever's ballot gets the most predictions right, that gets an award.
And Larry will be there, Larry Hart. And hopefully Cheryl Dixon will be in town.
They should both be there, yes, hopefully. Prayers going out to Cheryl because she's having some family things going on, but hopefully she'll be able to join us that night.
Excellent. That'll be wonderful, just wonderful. Who's going to win? Come on, Adam.
Okay, who's going to win? Best Picture, very close, could go a number of ways. I think it will be Nora. It could possibly be Brutalist or Conclave. Best Director, I'm a little bit more confident about it. I think that will be Sean Baker.
Yeah.
Best Actor, as we've discussed, most likely Adrian Brody, but don't count out Timothée Chalamet. Best Actress, most likely Demi Moore, but Mickey Madison still has a chance. The supporting categories are both locks for Kieran Culkin and Zoe Saldana, respectively.
Yep. And animated feature would be, I'm going to say it's Flow, but the consensus by many people is The Wild Robot. But let's go Flow. I'm rooting for Flow.
And when it comes to music, some of the soundtracks, I believe Sir Elton John has a tune in this year's
he does,
nominees.
But he won't. That's one of the things that's changed this year. They're not having performances of songs.
Why is that?
Well, I think they're trying to shorten the Oscar ceremony itself. And sometimes people see there were a lot of decrying people voices when they see the production of the song and it doesn't win, because sometimes a production doesn't go with a film. So you had like the Barbie song last year, and a lot of people were like, oh, it's a great song, and I'm Just Ken. It was fantastic, but it didn't win because it wasn't that integral to the movie. So it can be misleading when you go into watching and understanding who's going to win the Oscar.
But Elton John and Selena Gomez have tunes in this year's.
Yeah, Selena Gomez from Emilia, Perez has a song. But again, because of all the backlash from Emilia Perez, I don't think that there's not a good chance for her. That it was the front runner for quite some time, but that's how the world goes.
And the film freaks come out at night. Arlington Cinema Drafthouse, 7:00 is the time. The awards start at 8:00 on the big screen.
Doors open at 5:30. First start of the show is at 7, and then the Oscars themselves start at 8.
Oh, actually, the red carpet is at 6, and the ceremony starts at 7.
They moved it up.
Well, they moved it earlier. It had always been and you recall everyone, it was a running joke that it would end at, midnight, 12:30 sometime. So finally they moved it the show to 7 so that people like us on the East Coast can get some sleep.
Lots of party highlights at the Arlington Cinema N Drafthouse, and we'll be there. Hopefully you will too. If you need any more information, log on to the Washington, D.C. FilmSociety.org. That's where you can find it.
That's right. And who doesn't like leaving a theater at 2:00 in the morning after a long Oscar ceremony?
My wife did it. Yeah, I can tell you that.
The Arlington County Police love it.
Oh yeah. So
it's
we're
going to be a lot
that
of
they're
fun.
moving it up.
They're
so
very
that we can
helpful.
Get out.
Very, very helpful. We want to thank them and everybody over there in South Arlington. We'll see you on March 2nd, right, Charles?
Yeah. And thanks to the Arlington Cinema N Drafthouse for being a good partner with us doing this for 34 years?
32.
32 years.
32 years.
32 years.
All right.
And thank you, Tom. It was great being back with you.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Alex, at Once Again Tech.